Hi, welcome back to how to transfer your photo to Canvas. Let's do a small recap. Yesterday, we got our canvas, we put our Liquitex gel medium on, we trimmed our photo, we put our photo on, we smoothed it out, and then we let it dry for 24 hours. Now it's time to take our canvas and start peeling off the first layer of paper. Sometimes you're going to get big pieces. Sometimes you're going to get little pieces. You just want to work on it. It is a time consuming. It is very, some people might say it's tedious. You got to have patience for it. So we're going to peel the paper. I find it relaxing because while you're peeling it, you're not thinking of anything else. You want to be careful that you don't rub too hard. If you rub too hard, some of your painting can come off. If that starts to happen, then just stop from that area and move to another area. I try to always go from top to bottom or side to side. I try to stay in a row though, so that way I'm not missing any spots. Now, yesterday I told you to also remember that when you're smoothing it out to be careful that the page doesn't rip. If you rub too hard, well, guess what? Once you say it, it's going to happen. And I did. So there's a little rough spot on the corner here. I know that's already there. I know I'm going to have to work with it a little bit more. I may have to take a little bit of sandpaper around the edges where the glue came over the paper. Also up in this other top corner, it did the same thing. I can sandpaper over it or I can paint over it. With this up here, I might paint over it because I kind of like the texture that it made. So we're just going to go ahead and take what we need for the second part here for our first peel is we're going to need some water and a washcloth or a sponge. It doesn't have to be a spray bottle. It could be a cup. You can spray it or you can pour it on. It's whichever you're more comfortable with. You just don't want to soak it. You don't want to have too much water just pouring off of it, but you do want it to be wet. How will you know that it's wet enough? Your picture will shine through. When your picture shows through from that dryness, you'll know it's wet enough and you can start your peeling. So I'm just going to go ahead and wet this. You don't want any dark white areas. If you've got any white areas that your picture's not showing through yet, just put a little bit more water on it and continue pushing. Now, if after a few seconds it just is not happening, it's not going away, you can take the water, put it on it and try with your finger. If it's still not going away, then that's an area you're probably going to have to paint once you peel the paper. Okay. What I suggest is always start in a corner where you're going to, that's not going to tear up too much. And you're just going to start peeling it. And so it's just going to peel right off there. Okay. You may get big pieces. You may get little pieces. So this one doesn't look like it's going to. So you may get some little pieces there. I hope you can see that. I really need to move this a little closer, I think, so that you can see that I can't get the table to move right now. So you're just going to continue peeling that until all your pieces come off. So just continue peeling it. Once you get through your first layer of peels, then you'll let this dry. Once it dries, you're going to spritz it again and do a second peel. The second peel definitely is not going to come up in big peel. You'll be more like rubbing it off, like a rubbing. You want to rub very softly because you don't want to rub the paint off. If you do rub the picture off or the paint off, that's okay because you can go back in and you can repaint that. On this one, you won't be able to see it right now, but I do see that I rubbed a little hard here. And so I have a small little area showing. I'll use paint to paint that in. Over here, where I said I'm going to have to sand a little, I may have to paint that in as well. So I've done my first peel. I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to rub it off the second time. Then if you see any more paper as it dries, you'll just do it again. You'll continue doing this until you feel a nice, smooth surface and you don't have all that dried up paper. Now I am noticing on mine that I've got a little bit of bubbling up. That can stay for texture if you like the texture, or you can paint over it. whatever you just decide to do. Once your photo transfer has been peeled, has all the papers off of it, you're going to want to let it sit for about 5 days. After that 5 days, check it to see if there's any more paper remnant. If there's not, you're ready to gloss it. Glossing is really simple. You want to wait the 5 days to make sure all your paper's off. You make sure everything's adhered well, everything's ready to go. You're going to get your gloss. Now there's a few different glosses you can use. I like the spray gloss. I think that is the best for me. However, you may like something different. There are many glosses out there. I try to use a UV protectant gloss. So that is this one here. I use this one's Krylon. Costs about $8, $9 a bottle. Not too expensive. You can find it at any of your craft stores. You can find it at your hardware stores. Really easy. Another one I've used is the Mod Podge gloss. This one, it's great, but it just feels a little extra sticky, and you've got to be a little bit more careful with it. At anywhere that you're spraying these, you want to make sure you're well ventilated. If you have to go outside and do it, have something around you though, net-wise, so that bugs and leaves and things like that aren't going to fly into your project. Another thing I use is the Mod Podge Magi Dimensional. Now, I don't use this on big canvases. That's a lot of space. I do use it when I transfer photo to tile. You can transfer your photo to anything. Canvas, tile, wood, plexiglass. There's so many mediums out there, so many different things you can do with it. I was even told the other night you can transfer photo to candle. Now, I've not tried it yet, but that's going to be one of my next projects. Now, the Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, it's actually used for more like jewelry and things like that, but it did work for this. Very sticky. It took a while to do, a lot of bubbles to pop. So the easiest is going to be your spray. Now, I don't just spray it once though. What I'm going to do is I'll give it a good spray once. I'll wait for it to dry. I'll spray it again. I wait for it to dry. And I do about 3 or 4 sprays on there until I get it nice the way I want it. So that's all that I have for now. Once we get done peeling our second and third, fourth peels off and we've gotten all the paper off, I'll go ahead and paint in any areas that need to be painted in. Then I'll gloss it, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. So until next time, see you later.
Hi, welcome back. We are in my little makeshift gallery, and so I wanted to be able to show you our finished product. Our camera that we were using is on loan to the church right now, so I'm using my cell phone to do this part. So we're not going to get me in the film, we're just going to get the picture. So this is it with all its wonderful gloss. Let's see if we can get it without that light. You can see how glossy it is because of the light shining on it. And I do apologize because this is not my regular webcam. So there it is. We will have our webcam back soon and be able to do more videos. But that is with all of the layers of glossing on. I wound up having to do 4 layers of gloss on it. You'll see some indentured marks here. I used the wrong one. So I grabbed the wrong gloss, and when it had a spray nozzle, you know, it's supposed to help you to spray better. It made it worse. What it did is it splattered on like raindrops. So then I had all these little drops all over it. So be careful using those. Make sure you have if you are going to use it. One thing, I was too close. Make sure you're far enough away that it's going to spray better and not do raindrops on your photo, unless you want that kind of texture. So anyway, there is our finished product. It turned out really well. And here are just some others. This is a photo transfer I did at the Cincinnati Zoo. This is my photo. I took this photo myself. This is another one that I took. This is one that I had to paint in. You can see like over here where it didn't come through, so I had to paint in. So I put in a little bit of clouding and some dusting there. We talked about the tile ones. This is a tile one with the gloss on it. It just turned out beautiful. I just love this one. I did not take this picture, however. A friend of mine gave me this picture, and so I thought, man, that would look great on a tile. So anywho, that's pretty much the wrap up. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.